What if your best business decisions didn't come from a spreadsheet or from a 5-year strategy, but from a whisper? Today, that's what we're going to explore. What happens when you stop forcing strategy and start feeling it and being open to it and listening to what your intuition is telling you. My guest today is a powerful business coach in this area, and I can't wait for you to hear more from her. Welcome back to the Second Voice podcast with your host, Luisa Hogan. That's me. And we uncover the conversations that leaders don't say out loud. And I'm, as always, excited about my guest today, June. And together we're going to be unpacking what it feels like to trust the voice inside of you that is pointing you in the right direction. We're talking all things intuition, and June is a master at this. I can't wait for you to hear what she has to say. And we're talking about that voice that doesn't shout, but it's that little quiet knowing inside of you. But a little bit about June. June is a psychic medium, a life coach, a business mentor, and she helps visionary entrepreneurs awaken and amplify their intuitive gifts, which sounds amazing, by the way. And she does that so that they can build purpose-led lives and businesses filled with intuition, with impact, income, freedom, and fulfillment. She has nearly a decade of entrepreneurial experience and more than 5 years teaching intuitive development. She's built a soul-led business and supports her family, and it also allows her family to live a life by design. She's also an author, by the way. It doesn't say that in this bio, but I'm going to add that in because she's an award-winning author. Don't know why you didn't put that in your bio, June.
I know, I need to add it in.
You need to add it in. Her work blends spiritual insight with grounded business strategy, helping entrepreneurs tap into their intuition to create success that feels truly aligned. And she develops courses, she does private coaching, has a signature membership, and she meets people wherever they are on their journey, whether they're just discovering their gifts or ready to scale to the next level in their soul-aligned business. Amazing. I met June at a awards presentation where she won that award, and I knew that I had to know her, and I'm so glad she's just been open to connecting. It's been wonderful to get to know you, June, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my goodness, can you do my intro all the time? Like, honestly, yes. I feel like everywhere I go, I need you to do that introduction because that was amazing. That's way better than I could have said it. So thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I can't wait, to record this episode with you. So thank you for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine, and I'll pre-record that for you, and you can play it at the start of your podcast.
I need it.
And do whatever you like. All right, so let's delve into what you do. Can you tell me a little bit more about your background? And I know that in talking to you and following your podcast and your social media, you've talked about coming out of the spiritual closet. Can you tell me what that means for people listening? Because I would say the people listening aren't the same followers that you would have. So let's explain it. Tell me about your background. Tell me about your background.
Well, I guess if we want to go way back, I guess I've always been somewhat spiritual. I've always had sort of little experiences here and there, but nothing really that I would say that would make me any more special than anyone else. I honestly feel that so many people have different types of intuitive, feelings or things that have happened or a cool story to say. And I never thought in a million years it was going to be a thread that I would follow that would then turn into a career. I definitely didn't see that coming, which is quite funny because people are like, no, you're a psychic. You're supposed to know what's going to happen. It doesn't work like that, especially when it's to do with yourself. Your own ego is in the way, so it makes it a bit trickier. But I guess coming to 2020 was really when the mass awakening happened, I suppose. That was when the entire world shut down and we were all sort of forced to go within, and everyone had a moment to stop finally and stop, just living their lives on autopilot. And when that happened for me, so myself and my husband, we were both entrepreneurs. We've been entrepreneurs. I'd already been in entrepreneurship, I think, for about 4 years at that time. And running my own business, I thought I liked it, but it was kind of like a lot of people say they have that feeling that they're just missing. There's something that they are missing in their lives. Like it's not like they're unhappy or anything like that, but they have this like purpose or this deeper knowing that there's more to this. There's more I'm supposed to be doing. I know it's something big, but I just don't know what exactly that is. And so I guess stopping my actual work, that sort of voice got louder because my business was forced to shut down for the time being when lockdowns happened. And I was really cold. I just started following like on social media because obviously you start spending more time on there. A lot of, like spiritual leaders, spiritual teachers and mentors. And I just had this really strong feeling like, oh, I want to start my intuitive development. But like, does that make me really weird? Like, am I going to be one of those, strange people that then goes outside and dances naked under the moon? Not that there's anything wrong with the people who like to do that. Like, kudos to them. But I'm thinking, that's not who I am. So do I have to change who I am to now be also into this spiritual stuff? But really, that's where my journey began. And yeah, the last, I guess, coming up to 6 years now, it's taken me on this incredible journey where I've spent probably like trying to wrap it up sort of so it doesn't go for so long. The last 5 years, so prior to this one, working as a professional psychic medium. So that's where my intuitive development led me to. So not everyone who starts intuitive development obviously needs to do that. But then more so in this past year, we're teaching others how to open up and start leaning more into their own intuition. More so this past year, I've realized that my real passion area is helping, other people within their businesses, helping other people connect with their purpose, helping them build soul-aligned businesses, because I've done that before where I've built a business that actually was successful monetarily speaking, but not fulfilling me, like, on the inside. It wasn't lighting me up and making me really happy. So coming out of the spiritual closet is basically stepping out and being brave enough to say, I talk to the spirit or I use my intuition. And that in itself that was a whole journey. It wasn't just like one day I was brave enough to say that. It happened in bits and pieces. And there's probably a lot that I still don't share about the weird stuff that happens to me, because I'm like, oh no, I've gone to the next level of weird.
Is that a real thing? Like that self-talk of like, I'm weird. I don't want people to think I'm weird. Is that still with you now? Like after all this time, really?
1000%. But it's like, with everything that you work through in your life, you hit different. I call it new level, new devil. It's like, you hit a certain part and you think, okay, like I'm good with this now. And then the next phase of that drops in. So, and then you sort of, you come against another phase of that, being afraid of being super weird. Like this is the next level of weird that I'm about to hit. So,
yeah, that's crazy. It's funny because, I was talking about, it's not quite the same, but it reminded me of this. I've been talking to somebody about like being 9 years in my own business. And I was actually talking to my sister and because she's just starting out doing some new consulting stuff. And I'm like, just remember, the stuff that you start with today is not the stuff that you end up with 9 years later. You evolve, you find, you find new directions, things point you in new ways and you grow and develop. And if it feels scary, it's probably the right way to go, because you're going to grow and pull you out of your comfort zone, right?
1000%. That's exactly what I teach my clients or people all the time, which is that it's going to change. People spend so long like stuck on the same, it's got to be perfect before I release it. It's got to be perfect before I launch it. I have to know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, you spend all that time trying to make it perfect, and then you're going to change your mind. Like, especially if you're soul led and, your business is going to grow with you, you're going to change your business 10,000 times. Like, look at me. Every 6 months I have a new rebirth and I'm doing something different. So
yeah, amazing. I mean, like, tell me about that. Like, how can people not be afraid to do that? Because that can seem really scary to people,
Yes.
And I find where it manifests in me is like I get super excited about something and I'm like, go, 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 go. And then, the excitement wears off. And then I'm like, am I supposed to be doing this if I'm not excited about it anymore? And then it's like, can feel scary to just change direction. So like, what do you tell your clients who might be facing that fear?
It's very normal. I think it's very normal to go through that. So that's your intuition speaking when you're super excited or pumped about something. And that's like what we're supposed to be trying to follow. But then what happens the longer you sit on something, especially if you're not actioning anything, then analytical mind ticks in, or your ego. And that's when the human thoughts come in, which goes, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. Well, who do you think you are to be able to like do this? Like, you think you're so special, like you can't do that. That's not going to happen, that you're going to fail. Like all those voices come into your head. But that's why I sort of, the more I feel like you step into intuitive development and you start to trust that inner voice, that pause time becomes smaller, and you trust yourself so much. You just go, I always say to my clients, don't think. Like the less thinking, the better. Just action a small step and go for it. And then the next small step and the next small step, and just take your time with it. You don't necessarily have to have everything figured out. But that's how to tell the difference between, most of the time, intuition versus ego, is if that initial intuitive, excited feeling that you had was there, and then you get the nerves, that's just your human, side trying to keep you safe, which is, oh no, we're safe here. We're comfy. We don't need to expand. We don't need to evolve and grow. And it's tricky because, I am still human. So I still do crap myself. I can get really nervous about big steps and stuff all the time, but I just kind of go now, more so like, oh no, we're doing this. Okay, we're doing it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like I'm about to get a free coaching session here, because I'm going to ask you,
Nah, do it. Let's do it. I love it.
Like, I'm going to ask you that, like, you talk about, the difference between your ego and the fear and, the thing that excites you, right? So I get that. How do you know that, because sometimes that fear or that thing warning you can that also be intuition, like that thing warning you from something? And how do you know it's not you going, no, that's too scary, stop, and actually you should ignore that voice? So, because that's an inner voice I have all the time, and then I'm like, is that my gut telling me to don't touch that, or is that my ego? How do you know the difference?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, because especially when you're first starting out and you're not really intuitively so much so tuned in, or if there's so much fear behind something, it can really cloud like your judgment there. Usually what I like to do is I write down, say you've got two options in front of you, or there's the option to like stay just doing whatever it is you're doing and pick a particular thing. I usually like to look at the first choice, or option one, for example, and sit with it and really feel into it. Like take a moment to feel into that particular choice. And when I think about it, if I have that like still bubbles of excitement, like, oh gosh, like I really would like to try that. And actually, if I didn't try that, I'm gonna regret it. I know that. If you have that feeling, but still with like, you still have that with fear, that's usually intuition, because the fear comes from the growth and the expansion and the change, not necessarily from your intuition. So that's that option. If I look at say there's a choice that's incorrect for you, or it's not, I don't want to say incorrect, because sometimes we have to try things just for the basis of learning. It doesn't mean it's necessarily always going to work out. Like I've made heaps of choices which didn't work out, but I knew that I actually did need to take that step to learn and to get me to the next phase. So, and that's the thing, we are so afraid of failure, but try not to think of it as a failure. Try to take it as in like, it's a learning, it's a learning experience. And then the next thing, say it's not supposed to be for you, or it's something that is an actual warning. It's like when you look at it, there is no hint of excitement there. When you feel into it, there is absolutely just, it might be a wrong feeling in your stomach. It might be a drop in your gut. For everyone, it's different. So that's why it's really hard to sort of say initially how it's going to feel for you. Because a lot of people think, like this is how I've heard someone else explain how intuition works, and they try to grasp on to other people's definitions of it, when actually we are all really unique. So why would our intuitive abilities be the same? They're going to be extremely unique to you. So that's why you kind of have to practice this and sit with it and try it with a few different things and try to pick up the similarities, because some people literally see no, like the words no, like in their mind's eye, or they might hear, like a little yes, or they might see a red stoplight or a red sign that's like no. And some people feel it very much in their body or feel it via emotion. So it's just interesting to see how it plays out for you in particular.
This leads me to the next question. And anybody do this? Because there might be people listening going, well, that's fine for you. You're psychic, right? So, I know people would be like, what is intuition? You say like lots of people different definitions of intuition. What is intuition to you? And like, can anybody listening right now go, okay, yeah, I can develop that?
So that's funny because I actually think everybody is psychic. I'm just brave enough to actually say that I am.
Yeah.
And people have the definitions of what they think that means. And I actually probably have a different belief system as to what the majority of people think a psychic is. For me, being psychic is just intuitive. And I actually believe that all of us are born with this ability. It's just going to be different in everybody. And yes, some people are more naturally attuned to that, but often it's to do with, like how they grew up. Like if you're growing up with a family that's like, that's not real, that's not a thing, that's not going to happen, that's crap. You're probably not, we experience what we believe in our head. So if you believe it's not true, like it's not going to be true for you. Sorry, now I've forgotten what the question was because I've got on a tangent.
Can everybody anybody tap into
So
this?
I didn't start out this psychic. I started out just like everybody, like so many other people that start on their intuitive development journey. I had a lot of dreams. I'm definitely someone that's had dreams their whole life I call them prophetic dreams, which is where things sort of work out, like similar to that dream. Or I've had, passed over spirit or people that have passed come into my dreams, and then I've relayed those messages and they're like, oh, yes, I am pregnant. I literally have had dreams about people's dads that have come in and gone, I'm so excited, I'm having a grandchild, this dad that's passed over. And then I've said it to my friend. They're like, I haven't told anyone, but yeah, I'm about 6 weeks pregnant. So that type of stuff happened to me, but I learned how to increase and amplify my own intuitive abilities, and I'm still practicing all the time at making them better because I want them. So it's actually a choice for you. Like, do you want these? These are really helpful in life in general if you want these abilities. And I've seen people, so yes, I think anyone can do it if you have a belief, if you have a curiosity in it. I've seen people go from what they believe to be zero intuitive abilities and not even really a strong belief system behind it to literally channeling and connecting with like passed over spirit or with their intuition or whatever it is you believe in, like within like a few months. So it's pretty crazy how quickly, if you have, the belief system and the drive to want to, like you can do it.
Do you know, I relate to that because, as you know, we've been talking behind the scenes for a little while now, and not heaps, but like we met, and I would say my intuition was telling me, I know this person, but I don't know her, and I should know her. And it was just really strong feeling. And then suddenly you just started popping up everywhere for me, you were popping up on my social media just randomly. Then we went and we're both authors on a co-written book, and you popped up on the screen as what fellow author. I was like, okay, the universe is telling me I need to meet with this person. And it's funny because I would never, ever call myself psychic in any way, but following your work, and then I was like, out of interest, I joined your your little psychic school, it's where you post all those videos, and I've been like working through all those, and then suddenly all of these little aha moments come in. I'm like, wow, actually the universe talks to me all the time.
Yes.
And I've just never really, I've paid attention, but not like paid attention directly and gone, okay, that's what that is. I get strong dreams, messages for friends through my dreams that, are meaningful to them. And, when I fell pregnant with my daughter, I've told you the story. When I fell pregnant with my daughter, I went through years of IVF. It was really hard. And then one day I was like, got blood test results, and, the IVF clinic had told me that I wasn't able to do another round of IVF that month because my hormone levels weren't at the right level. And I was crying, walking my dog. I remember it was like tears coming down my face, and this voice came into my head and said, it's not happening the way you want, but it's happening the way you should. And I just felt this immense calm come over me. It wasn't my voice. People think I'm crazy when I tell the story, but I'm not crazy. That voice wasn't mine. It came in and told me. I felt immense calm. And 2 weeks later, I was, found out I was pregnant. and naturally didn't have
Yeah.
IVF, and I now have this beautiful daughter. So there's things in that. And then when I met you, I'm like, okay, yeah, that all makes sense, you know. And you know, I think to people listening who may be like me, who never really thought, oh, this is a thing, I don't think you can go so deep. You don't have to go so deep into it. And tell me, June, if like you agree. But like, I don't think you have to go so deep into it that you now have to become a psychic, as you say. But you can
1000%.
start to listen to what's
Yes.
around you.
Yeah, and that story is incredible. And when I heard that story, I was like, okay, you've got a natural already ability there. And it's really funny that you thought that, you know, that wasn't anything really special. When hearing lots of different stories, and lots of people come to me and they go, okay, I'm really curious, you know, for some particular reason, but I don't actually have anything. And when we talk about their experiences, just like you were talking about your experiences, because I'm, you know, trained in what I'm looking for, I'm like, actually, you do. You've got this, 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 and this. And they're just like blown away. They're like, oh, is that a thing? I'm like, yeah, that's a thing. It's just because, like, oh, are we back?
Hello.
Did I just cut out?
Oh, you're back.
Did
Yeah.
I just cut out?
You cut out for a little bit. The last thing I heard was we were when people talk about their experiences.
I don't know what happened there. Oh yeah, so when people come to me, they come to me and they say, I've never experienced anything. I actually don't have anything. But it's because they don't know what they're looking for. They expect it to be like how Hollywood has portrayed it, to be like, you know, a ghost standing there, or something scary or freaky. And really, it's so subtle. It's so much a part of you that we don't notice that these are actually things that everybody possesses. So as soon as they're done, you know, with their first session, I'm like, actually, you've got this ability, this ability, this ability, this ability. And they go, oh my gosh, I do actually. And that's similar to what you're saying, when you're like, oh, wait, no, I've always had this. This has always happened to me. I just didn't actually know that that's what it was. Because people think like there's someone behind me, like, you know, chatting to me and I can see them. I don't see anything. It comes through totally different to, you know, how you would imagine it. And that's the thing, is people are also quite surprised because I'm quite a grounded person. And I also believe that there needs to be a strategy. There needs to be action taking. Like, I'm also very grounded. I'm not all about the, you know, just the intuitive side. There's so much more that sort of all has to come together. But this is, a lot of people come to me who don't want to work in the intuitive space. Probably 50% of my clients are business owners who just would like to increase their intuition, because what an amazing business tool to be able to feel into actually what is right for me, and what makes me happy, and what lights me up, and what makes me excited to do work, do work every day. That's a lot of my clients too. And that's what I'm really passionate about as well, is creating a business that is like soul aligned with you and your own individual purpose, because we're all here to do different things.
So yeah, I'm really glad that you talked about that, you know, people feeling grounded and like having strategy, because many people that I know are very strategic thinkers and would struggle to feel relaxed about having or leaning into intuition and what that looks like. So tell me about, like, you know, the people who come to you with that business decision making that you work with, who are very grounded. What are the first steps that people can take to start leaning into that intuitive side?
So the reason why they do actually come to me is because the strategy isn't working. It's because they are too much involved in what somebody else is doing, and then wondering why that same cookie cutter blueprint isn't working for their business, and then feeling bad about themselves and thinking they're doing it incorrectly, when really that same strategy is not going to fit every person, because the universe, God, source, whatever you want to believe in, is like, you're not here to do that. Like, that's not what you're here. That's not part of your purpose. That's not who you're here to serve. So that's not going to work out for you. That doesn't feel good for you. They come to me burnt out. You know, like, this particular strategy isn't working. Why isn't it working when it's worked for this person, and this person? Or sometimes it does work, strategically speaking, but they feel awful. Like, they literally are drained. They're completely burnt themselves out. They feel like sad, and you're not supposed to feel that way. If you are doing what you came here to do, abundance will flow in every area of your life. It's like monetary abundance, feeling good, feeling excited, feeling lit up, everything flows together. So in order to bring their intuitive side or energetics or mindset, even, because all of that is also to do with business, it shouldn't just be strategy. Actually, for me, I believe strategy is probably worth about 10%. Your identity and what you believe you are capable of, your mindset, your energetics, intuitive side probably makes up, I would say, 80 to 90% of a successful business. When I say successful, what's successful to you, what you believe feels successful. So it really is a matter of, first of all, rewiring that identity that they don't trust themselves and they don't have self-belief, that they actually do know inside. It's sort of a matter of pointing out or figuring out how it works for them and their own intuition, which I have a bunch of like usual questions that I would get to the nitty gritty of how their intuition is trying to present. So for me, often if you're on the wrong track, or not the wrong track, but you know what I mean, you're going sort of in a direction that's not aligned with you, anxiety, depression, that's literally your intuition telling you like this isn't right for you. Go the other way, where
Yeah.
then we mask that with, not that there's anything wrong with, taking medication and that for, those problems, but we're not actually getting to why do I actually feel anxious about going to work every day, or why do I feel anxious about this business, or the way I'm running things, is because that's your intuition saying, no, stop, stop here, realign, go back,
Yeah.
try again. And, I've suffered from depression, anxiety and stuff in the past. I had postnatal depression. And that's exactly, for me, obviously there's so many different causes of this, and everyone's journey is different. But for me, I was just on the total wrong track, doing the wrong things for myself.
Yeah.
But now I've noticed that's how it
Yeah.
manifests for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing, like learning to trust that too, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I love also how you say, it's success for you might not look like
Mm,
success for somebody else. And I think sometimes we
1000%.
are so busy trying to get success for what everybody else thinks success looks like
Yes.
that we've
Yep.
forgotten to look at what is success for me and
Mm,
what is, to use the word abundance, like, when you're asking for abundance, you actually might be sitting in the abundant life already. And it might not be
yes.
riches. It might just be all of these amazing things that you have, like a wonderful family and experiencing
Mm,
joy with them. And, that's your abundance. So trusting that voice too, right? That's like, okay, well, success for me isn't necessarily the big title, the multi-million-dollar business, what is success for you?
yes.
So,
Yeah. And that's what
yeah,
I work with people, I guess, doing, which is figuring out what is their version of success first, and then
yeah,
tailoring what we're aiming towards to suit their own individual version of success. Because you're 1000%
amazing.
right. It looks
So,
so different.
yeah. Oh, everybody's different, right? And I feel like we get caught in that comparison trap, I think. It's
Mm.
very easy to do that in business, in your own business too. What are, like, have you got like little easy, few tips that you can give somebody who's interested listening today, some tips that you can give them? Like, these are 3 things you can do right now, or one main thing that you can do right now that doesn't feel that's for the grounded people who like the little checklist and the little to-do list of things that they can do to
Do you know
start
what?
tapping into intuition
That is
better.
also me. I love a checklist. I love to tick things off. I was literally doing that this morning, and for me, it's not like, there are some mentors that I've had that have been very much like, oh, okay, you just do it. Like, just trust yourself, just do it. And that works amazing, for them and then a certain amount of people. But I'm the person that also needs that. No, hang on. I need the 1A step, then 1B, then 1C, then what's 2, 3, 4, and
Yeah.
5. Like, I need to know it in order.
Yeah.
So probably the easiest things, like if you're just getting started, you can do is start popping in like present time. So time to be present. So literally, if it's just like start at 3 minutes, and you can work your way up like 3 times a week. That's all you need. People think like to be in this space, you have to meditate for hours. And I have had mentors that do meditate for hours. That's never been me. I'm like a 12-minuter and like that's it. Don't ask me why it's 12 minutes. That's just what feels good for me. But I'm not one of those people that likes to sit there for hours. But I started at 3 because it takes, especially if you're a go, I feel like I've got to be doing, action all the time. You almost have to learn how to do it. So just take 3 minutes, set your timer if you need to, because if you're going to be itchy of like, well, has it been 3 minutes yet or whatever, 3, 5, 8, whatever you feel called to do. And just try sitting there and checking within yourself, like, okay, what have I been doing today? Where am I, say you have a business, like where am I going within my business? Did it feel good? The actions that I took towards in my business today, did that feel aligned, or did that make me feel happy or excited when I did those things? Because for me at the moment, pretty much every job I have in my business, I'm so freaking excited to do it. Like I get so excited for work every day. There's not really, the way I've designed it, there's not really any jobs that I go, ugh, like I dread doing that because I pass those all on to my VA. I've made it so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll work in my genius zones or my areas that, make me feel happy. And anything that I'm like, no, I don't want to work out how to use ConvertKit. Like that's not my thing. I'll pass that on to someone else. But yeah, have a little check-in. Just take 3 minutes. I use something called binaural beats. So some people haven't heard of this. You can look up playlists on Spotify, YouTube. They're free. And they literally it's just music, like meditation music that is set to tones, which help to switch your brain off. And don't worry or don't stress if literally for that whole 3 minutes you're going, well, what time do I have to pick the kids up from school again? And what if they got after school? This child's got basketball and this child's got this, because I do the same thing. But what happens is the more you actually practice being present, the more those thoughts begin or leave faster. So you'll get quicker at now. I don't have those thoughts as much, but if they do come up, I let them pass. And then what happens is you'll get a little insight into something. Like you'll just go, oh, wait, I should reach out to this person, within those 3 minutes of silence or those 5 minutes of silence. Or I should get Louisa on my podcast episode. That's just popped in. And you think they're just thoughts, but they're not thoughts. That's the I'm coming for you. That's the intuitive drop-ins that happen, because we often think it's just us, but it's not always us. So that's probably the easiest one to start at. And then I also would like to say, keep an intuition diary and take note of feelings, thoughts, images, sounds, or things that pop up during that time of silence. Because like you said, you actually said it before, you just had never taken conscious notice of all the things that had happened in your life previously. And when you did, you kind of went, oh, right, like that does happen to me. Or it does feel like that when I'm getting an intuitive idea or, messages for friends. This is how it feels for me. And when you start jotting all this stuff down and you come back or you go through it, like you might go back a few weeks, you'll be like, oh, that happened. So I had this feeling if I actioned this, that would work out. And looking back, that did work out. And this is how it felt in my body, or, this is what I saw when I got that feeling. And you start to actually go, oh, right. And then once you notice or you pick up those little things, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. So it's just like any other muscle, any other exercise that you do, the more you practice, the more you act on these things, the stronger it will get for you. Like for me now, if it's a hard no, I feel it so strongly in my body, I will literally feel sick. I know like within 2 seconds. Like if you'd asked me on this podcast and it was like a no, my gut would have said no, but I got so excited. I was like, so I knew it was a yes, immediately. And it's a matter of feeling those things and then acting on them as well. So anyway, does that help?
Yeah, absolutely it helps. And, those are great tips. I've been following your tips from, all of the videos that I've watched from you. And, I've been like I feel like I know you more than you know me, because I've dug deep into the work that you've got through your through your school. And, I'll tell you a funny story, because I've been doing your little practices, starting with a sit-in piece, and I do sit-in piece as part of my resilience practice, because I'm a
Wow.
resilience strategist. So,
Yes.
like it all links in so nicely and dovetails so nicely. But, I do the, I have to take time every day to sit in peace and block out times for me to just sit and think and enjoy that. And it's funny because, I've been following some of your tips, and I won't share them all because it would take me forever to share. But I was sitting and I was having this conversation in my head, and it was like, and I think I was asking like the universe questions around, okay, like, am I on the right track here? And, and like intuitively, it was like I was feeling those feelings of excitement. And then I've told you this before, I've got this little fear in me from being raised as a Catholic that,
Yes.
there's bad things that will give you bad advice. So in my head, a thought popped in my head, and I said, well, how do I know you're not just giving me bad advice because you're a bad thing? And this very clear image of a clown popped into my head, and it wasn't calling me a clown. It was kind of like, you're funny, you're so funny. And it was like, okay, yeah. And then I had such a laugh, and then it made me feel really like at ease about what I was thinking about, and like me being on the right path and feeling excited about that. So it's just little things that, that pop up that you talk about just learning to listen and feel relaxed about it, and be open, I think, to what things have to say to you.
I love that you said be open, because that's definitely one of the things that is the most important, because we do have preconceived ideas of how it should take place for us. And that's what so many people struggle with. I had a client say to me last week, well, how do I see light like you see light? Like, how does that happen? Mustn't be doing it right because I'm not seeing any light. And I'm like, yeah, but you just told me that, when your spirit team stepping close to you, or, whatever it is, however you perceive or what you want to believe in, you felt tingles on the top of your head. Like, you don't have to be the same as me. That's how your abilities work for you. That's how you feel. And she's like, oh yeah. She said, I think I'm putting my too high expectations, or I'm trying to tell my intuition how it should work when you can't do that. Like, it just, just like every other, thing, it's just going to work the way it works, and we can build on it and make it stronger, and we can bring out abilities or work on certain abilities. But if that's how it works for you, you just have to, be open and actually take that as a thing. Because the more you shut it down, the more you're like, that's not real, that's not a thing, the harder it's going to be for you on this journey. I always say at the very beginning of your intuitive journey, from now on, everything that you think is a thing, just make it a thing. Because that's like, it's like, it's shutting everything down for you if you just keep second guessing. Like, your grandma in spirits worked really hard to get you that feather. And if you take the feather and you're like, oh, I really have this strong feeling that this is from my grandmother. And if you get the feather and she's worked so hard to get you that feather, and you're like, yeah, but that's just a coincidence, and you chuck it away, poor granny's sitting up there going, oh, my beautiful feather that I sent to you to let you know that I'm with you.
I did that. And that was
hard. Oh, you've done that. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. I thought you were saying like it's happened to you.
Oh, man. Like, it's funny you mentioned feathers, because, again, no. I have got feathers. Again, the whole time I was pregnant, I'd had many miscarriages. So when I fell pregnant naturally, like, I was just fearful the whole time that I was going to, have another miscarriage. And like, I don't think I ever really relaxed that whole pregnancy until I held my baby in my arms. But the whole time, every time I went for a dog walk, every single time I went for a walk, I found a feather every time. And my husband, every time he went for a run, he found a feather. Every single time. We collected a pile of feathers, a pile.
That's so interesting.
And it's funny because ever since then, I haven't really found, so every now and again I might get one, but like not to that extent. Every single day, every dog walk, I found one.
They're just trying to tell you it's all going to be okay.
It's going to be fine, like I've already told you it's going to be fine. So here, like, just believe it. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned.
Yeah, well, I kind of just saw it in my mind's eye, which is why I actually did mention it. So it's good to know that it actually fits for you.
Yeah, it does. Totally does. You've said you've stopped following others and you started just, you're following your own, trusting your own lane. That was a big part of you, letting go of that fear of looking weird and trusting your own lane. Um, have you got advice for people who are trying to say, um, you know, earn their alignment maybe, or, um, just pushing hard on like, I need to do this. And, like that feeling you were talking about where they're trying on that strategy and it's not working and it's not working. And now listening to this, they might be thinking, okay, I need to move out of that and start trusting that my path will, emerge in front of me if I just listen to some instinct and to some intuition. Like what advice have you got for them?
You can actually ask for help. So that's the other thing, is a lot of us, forget that, if you do believe in intuition or any of this, that there's more to this world than just the 3D, that you can actually say, okay, so I tried doing this program because someone told me, or I saw this coach that I look up to doing it, and I actually, didn't really feel like it was for me, but I did it because that's what I thought was the right thing to do. And now I'm doing it. It doesn't feel right, but I know I need guidance in this area because I don't know how to do it on my own. So obviously I still have coaches. I still am learning all the time. So universe, could you send me a sign or send me someone who can help me, for example, in learning how to market myself better, whatever it is that you're looking at, in a way that feels good for me. Please help me in this situation. And I do this all the time. We forget we can actually ask them for help. So we have free will as humans. We have free will as to, how much we want to lean into and ask for their help. And when you actually do ask, it's giving them permission. So they're always trying to help you, or your intuition's always trying to guide you. But when you actually do ask for that help, it amplifies because you're giving them permission to intervene further. And it's funny because I'll be scrolling, and then someone will just stand out in your feed. So exactly what you were saying with me, and I just kept popping up everywhere. And it's when it's a thing, it keeps repeating. Like you'll see the course and you'll be like, oh, soul aligned marketing or, marketing and manifesting, they're all intertwined together. Try this program, and it will keep coming up, and that person will keep showing up, and it will keep coming up in your feed, and then you'll dream about them. Oh, this will happen. And it's literally then, just popping it into your field. And when you pick up the message, okay, message received, I'm going to do that program, it stops. And that's happened to me so many times. So like even with my business coach that I'm working with now, so because obviously I'm clairvoyant, it even got to the point, because I didn't pick it up right away. I was pretty quick on actioning on it, but not probably as fast as I could have been. Because I was like, oh, the usual human stuff, that's a lot of money. Do I really want to drop that amount on business coaching? And I was walking around the lake, and his face was superimposed, like with my clairvoyance, over like nearly everyone that walked past me. When you look in the distance and you kind of think you see someone, but it's not actually them. He actually lives in Canada, so I knew it couldn't actually be him. And then I'd get closer, I'm like, no, that's not him. And then I was like, okay, hang on a minute. Message received. All right, fine. I'll sign up with his business mentoring. Because it actually got to the point where you're playing with my clairvoyance now, and I can see his face, which is so creepy, superimposed on all these people that are walking past me. So fine. And he's exactly what I needed. So I'm so glad I signed up with him. But obviously be open to how that happens for you.
Amazing.
That's not gonna happen for everyone, where they see your face superimposed on somebody else.
Yeah, it's going to happen differently for everybody. It's just about, as we've already said, about being open. Yeah, I mean, look, I feel like there's so much more that we can cover, and I think we'll probably be bringing you on as a guest at some point again in the future as we do more of these episodes and listen to other leaders and entrepreneurs and what their journeys are, because I think you are a breath of fresh air. I love that you talk about intuition, but in such a grounded way, not in this way where people listening might be going, well, that's too out there for me. It's just something practical that you can do. I know I've been doing it in such a practical way that you've suggested through the work that you do. And I've loved it. Like, and not in a,
thank you.
yay, I'm psychic way, just purely in a, I feel relaxed and excited and, just more aware, I would say. And that's not a bad feeling to have at all, especially in business where it can feel very lonely at times, or you can second guess yourself, or you feel like, am I doing the right thing? Or, it's like business and entrepreneurship and leadership is hard. So
yes,
truly, if you just want to feel that lightness and a little bit of like hope or faith that, you're okay, like get in touch with June or look her up, which brings me to, where can people find you? Like if they want to get in touch with you, work with you, dabble in it like I've done and go deeper and deeper. You've got like a 7-day challenge. How can people find you?
Thank you so much. There's something for every level, I guess. Like if you're just getting started out versus you really, like some people just deep dive straight in. But the best place is probably Instagram. So at Ms. June Mac on Instagram, you can reach out there, or junemac.com. And yes, there's free stuff for you there. I have a podcast as well, the Little Psychic podcast. If you want to, just dip your toe in, but reach out and ask me questions. I love DM convos. That's how me and Louisa started chatting. Is we literally just sending each other voice notes and stuff like that. But yeah, if you've got any questions or any feedback, reach out to me anytime. But I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook. But Instagram's probably the main place where I hang out. So I would love to hear from you.
Come to the dark side, come to LinkedIn and let more business leaders find you.
I need to. I know. It's still on my list. I still haven't done it. Oh, but thank you so much for having me.
Get your VA on.
I know, I will.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you so much for being here with me today. I've loved our chats. I hope to continue to keep chatting to you for ages to come, because you really are a breath of fresh air, and I appreciate you being here with us today and sharing your insight.
Thank you so much. You're doing such amazing work. I love it.
You're welcome. Thank you. So the voice you're looking for might not be very loud or out there if you're listening to this podcast. It might be right there inside of you. Just be open to it. Be open to listening to how you feel in the moment when that advice comes to you. Discerning between fear and ego and what the universe might be telling you. Delve deeper into that, because sometimes intuition is not something that's ultra loud. It's something that comes quietly, but it's so valuable when you start to listen to it. And thanks to June for joining us and sharing that story. We'll see you next time at the Second Voice podcast. I look forward to chatting to you then. Bye.